Look outside. Can you see them? They're called living things, and if you look closely, you'll see that there are similarities and differences between them. Scientists like to make order of this chaos by classifying organisms into different groups. I'm now going to run you through some of the highest categories called kingdoms. Plants make their own food. They do this by using the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into sugars, which we call photosynthesis. Since plants make their own food, they form the basis of food chains, where they are called producers. In biology, glucose is an important sugar. It's a monomer, and plants make two polymers out of it. Cellulose, found in the cell walls of plants, and starch, which is used to store excess glucose. Animals are different to plants. Animal cells don't have cell walls, and glucose is stored as glycogen instead of starch. Plants tend to stay still, so animals have to move to eat either them or other animals. And animals have nervous coordination to help them do this. Like animals, fungi don't make their own food. Instead, they feed on dead or decaying matter, so are known as saprotrophs. Fungi feed by secreting enzymes to break up polymers outside of their body and then absorbing the monomers into their body. The body of a multicellular fungus is called the mycelium, which is made up of many small threads known as hyphae. Like plants, fungi have cell walls. However, the walls of fungi are composed of chitin instead of cellulose. Like animals, fungi store excess carbohydrates as starch. This next group is single-cellular and difficult to generalize, but broadly there are two types of protoctists. Those that resemble plants, such as chlorella, which are often known as algae, and those that resemble animals, such as amoeba, which are known as protozoa. Some protoctists cause diseases, such as Plasmodium, which causes malaria. Bacteria are a group of single-cellular organisms without a nucleus. Instead, they have a circular chromosome of DNA, as well as smaller pieces of DNA called plasmids, which they can exchange with other bacteria. Some bacteria are able to photosynthesize, although most feed off other organisms. Bacteria have cell walls that are different to those of plants or fungi, and it is by inhibiting the synthesis of these walls that some antibiotics, like penicillin, work. It is because of these different types of cell walls that antibiotics only affect bacteria, and even then, not all of them. You need to be familiar with lactobacillus, which is used in the production of yogurt, and pneumococcus, which causes pneumonia. Our last group is the viruses. Viruses do not meet all of the Mrs. Gren criteria, so are often not considered living as they need a host cell to reproduce. Viruses are much smaller than bacteria, which is shown in the top picture, where many viruses are attached to a single bacterium. Viruses have a simple structure consisting of a nucleic acid surrounded by a protein coat. Examples of viruses are the tobacco mosaic virus, influenza, and the human immunodeficiency virus, which causes AIDS. Finally, the term pathogen is used to describe a disease-causing organism. 4 out of the 6 groups introduced here are considered pathogenic: fungi, bacteria, protoctists, and viruses. As I started by saying, life comes in many forms, and as such there are many ways of describing the similarities and differences between organisms. One way to do this is shown here, but you could certainly think of others. One method that is often used by scientists is to classify organisms by how they have evolved.